What's up, Topeka? Welcome to the I'm from Topeka podcast, broadcasting straight from the... We're here to bring you the people, the stories, and the pulse of Topeka. Whether you're a longtime resident or just curious about what makes the city tick, we've got you covered. Season 2.
Let's get it right. Season 2, episode
6.
6. Okay, we're
episode
good.
6.
We're
Let
on
me
track.
check, make sure
Yeah,
there's...
let's double check. We've been moving with it. We got a little, I think, behind.
Yeah,
We've been putting out more than we realized. So
it's so much going
Yeah.
on, bro. Like, there's so much. Like, we literally, on Misha's episode, like, episode 3, and then we're like, dang, we completely forgot about Kelsey. Like,
oh, man.
but, I mean, it was...
I did edit it out, but you just gave it away.
Oh, man,
so
you know what I mean? And we'll edit this out. Just edit that.
We're good.
Yeah. But man, episode 6, season 2, I'm from Topeka podcast, man. We got a special guest. This guest is not from Topeka, but he does business in Topeka. That's how we've kind of connected and done different things. And we've seen him doing different things. But Mike, who are we with today, man?
Man, we're sitting with DJ. I seen him live actually at the last Get Down to T-Town event. Seems like a great guy. Comes with great sounds, great energy.
Yeah.
Cash Hollistah, man, what's going on today?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, no problem,
Thank you
man.
for coming.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for letting me be a non-Topekan.
The first
Topeka
one.
podcast.
The first one,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
with pride. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So where are you from?
So I'm from Salina.
Okay.
Cool.
Salina. Okay. I got
So
you.
just a little hop, skip, and a jump west.
Yeah.
And I do quite a bit here in Topeka, but yeah, this is it's an honor, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem,
Yeah,
brother. No
for
problem,
sure.
man. Like I said, we seen you out. We seen you doing stuff here in Topeka, man. We've been on Facebook. We've been friends on Facebook for a while now. And like, I didn't know how we ended up connecting, but you told me before we started, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to follow you from the Topeka Tropics.
Yeah,
when you was on there, and had a friend that was on the Tropics as well. And I'm a DJ for the Salina Liberty. So back when you guys were in the CIF, that's kind of how I followed y'all. So
That's crazy.
what's
That's
up,
crazy.
man.
It's a small world,
Yeah,
but man,
it
it's
is.
good. It's good how everything can connect and social media can connect people.
Absolutely.
You know?
Word.
Because it's put me on your music and stuff, and then also that you're DJing and stuff. But before we go into all that, man, kind of tell everybody who you are and kind of what you do.
So Cash Hollistah, I am an MC, DJ, community activist, arts advocate. So I do a lot of stuff like hip hop, poetry and hip hop. I do that in the school. So I kind of teach a specialty class
Nice.
talking about poetry and hip hop and how hip hop is essentially poetry,
Yeah.
over beats. And so that's mostly what I do, just a dad. And that's a lot,
Yeah.
but nothing at the same time.
Exactly.
So,
I got that. So with was I gonna? I don't
No,
know.
you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
So with that, what got you into? Were you an MC first, or were you a DJ first, or kind of how did that happen?
MC first. So
Okay.
like I've been rapping since I was like 9.
Gotcha.
So I've been rapping for a while.
Mhm.
So that was kind of like my first thing. And so taking it seriously, I didn't really start taking that seriously until about high school. Sophomore years when I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then, got into the music business about 4 years later after I went to college.
Mhm.
And so from there, I just kind of took that seriously. And then over the past few years is when I really started getting into DJing. Like I used to be a radio personality when I was like 16.
Oh,
So
wow.
like I've always had that drive to be a DJ. I just didn't necessarily care to learn the fundamentals of it until
Right.
a lot later. So I always had a
cool.
respect for the craft. But so I started doing that here about 6-7 years ago, and that's sort of taken over more so than rapping. But I'm getting back into that as well.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
What were you doing a radio host? Where were you?
so it was a Christian radio station and was in Salina.
Dope.
And so that it was like an intern thing, but then that became a job.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice,
That's
man.
dope.
I listen to Bot Radio Network quite a bit, so I know that's one of the main ones that's on air that I
Yeah.
appreciate. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Heck
I didn't
yeah,
know
man,
that they
that
had a
is.
Christian radio
Yeah, I
station down
didn't
in
either.
Salina.
Yeah.
And so where did you go like after that? Like what made you leave there and kind of go?
So I
what was
went
the
to
next
college.
steps? Uh-huh.
Went to college in Oral Roberts University, so that was in Tulsa.
Okay.
So that is where I met a rap group that was out there.
Mhm.
And so I joined up with them. And that was like my first foray into like the music business.
Gotcha.
And so my mother at the time, she had developed cancer. So I came back to Salina, and that's kind of where I stayed for a little bit. Then once she had passed, then I went to Detroit and I went to Atlanta
Okay.
to kind of pursue music really full time before I came back
Yeah.
to Kansas. And so, yeah.
That's what's up.
man,
That's what's up.
went some
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
So
That's-
Yeah.
Done some
Learned
things.
some things. Yeah. What was the group you were with?
It was a
when you
group called
first-
Mass Reality.
Mass Reality. Okay.
Yeah. So we was heavy on lyricism. We was on our Wu-Tang. We was pretty deep.
Yeah.
And so we were doing that for a while, and then just kind of went our own separate ways, and linked up with a few cats from Detroit. And so when the time came to go to Detroit, I went up with them and did some stuff up there, and then went to Atlanta. And that was fun for a while, and got noticed a little bit, but ultimately I just came back, realized that the industry was sort of changing. So it wasn't like, hey, they were signing people based off talent. They were signing people based on bankability. So like if you had a fan base,
For sure.
then they would sink money into you. And so like, one of the executives was saying, hey, go back to Kansas, build your fan base. We'll reach back out to you. So that's initially what I did.
Yeah.
And then as time progressed, I just realized I didn't really need to be there.
Yeah.
Like I can just be here, and if I needed to shoot out there, I can do that whenever.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it was cool being here.
Yeah.
So
How many
that's
people
where
were in
I've
your group?
been. Mass Reality, man, it was about 14 at one point.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
You guys had that's
Yeah.
a movement.
So we had So we had like, it was rappers, it was singers, well, we had DJs.
Yeah.
So it was a conglomerate
That's dope.
for real. But yeah.
That's fire, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And I hear you on the ever changing industry, because it's like, we are in such a time now with that where like if you can, there's the power of online, and there's also so much online. Like
Right.
every artist is online, so it's like being able to try to combine that with going in person, put
Right.
boots on the ground, and showing people in real life, like this is me, this is what I could do.
Right.
But yeah, you touched on that. So with that ever changing, did you get into music with a goal? Did you have like a thing where it's like, this is the end goal for me in music?
I was trying to be famous.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to
Okay.
be super
That was the
famous.
main thing. Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, so that was initially the goal. Sort of as time progressed, it was really more so I felt that the definition of success for me changed to where it was like, okay, if I can like, sell this amount, or like move this much merch, or make this much on an annual basis, to me that's successful. I think the definition of that changed, and realizing that I would love to be a part of a label, because not all labels are bad. I think the machine is the machine.
Yep.
Like and
Yeah.
and it can work to your favor if you work it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But ultimately it was like, okay, if it's independent, if this is the route I gotta go, then that's fine.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately where I landed. Now I haven't been doing a whole lot of music lately because life sort of took over. I have 3 girls, and so that kind of happened. And as I was getting into more community stuff, that sort of took over. Like these doors kind of opened to where like I can go into schools and do these things and do these projects that I never really thought about initially.
Yeah.
And then that sort of took over, and I didn't do music as much. But now I'm kind of at this point to where like I've been able to accomplish quite a few things, and so I want to get back into doing music. Whether that's just not necessarily being an artist like full time, but like to be a producer, an A&R, to help with other artists as well, because I feel like I have that knowledge to do that. So,
Yeah. That's dope. That's real
For
dope,
sure.
man.
That is, man.
And that's growth though. Because a lot of people would, be like, oh man, I'm not necessarily saying giving up on it, but like some people don't know when those doors open, they don't know when to step into those doors.
Yeah.
They might just be so headstrong and so
Right.
stubborn to be
When to
like, no, I'm
pivot.
doing it.
Like,
Yeah,
when to just,
exactly.
like, okay.
learning, the art of pivoting it's been, I'm 44 now, so like that having those dreams of being like super famous, it's not there anymore. But I know that there is an audience, that wants what I give them, that I can give them.
Yeah.
So I'm focused on that.
Yeah.
And if something happens, if I were to get a Grammy, that's cool. But ultimately, it's just them.
Yeah.
It's finding that audience and just feeding them.
Yeah. For
So,
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And the success, like you said, I love that, because like it's true. The definition of success does change as we grow a little bit. Excuse me. We get some places, and it's like we think we put all eggs in that basket, and then you get some of that, and you're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is
it's
that. Like,
You
so
find it's not as fulfilling as you thought originally.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I have friends in the industry that are doing major things, and some of them I've seen that have handled it well, navigated it well, and then some I've seen that have just fallen off, and it's wrecked them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, those were things that I was praying for. Yeah, I want this, blah, 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 blah. And then realizing that I don't think I was ready for that. And I'm glad that God said no to certain things, because I would have probably crashed and burned. And I would have been one of those people that you would have heard those cautionary tales. So rather than that, it was like, okay, you probably need to go the long way.
The art of pivoting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
That's dope, man. That's
It
dope.
is.
So what are you like? How did you go from like pivoting? How did you go from, being a rapper to, you said, going into schools and you doing some stuff in schools?
So it was a lady that we have an Arts and Humanities Commission in Salina, and there was a lady at the time that was there. Her name was Sharon. She initially asked me to do a class about hip hop and Shakespeare. That was like that was her thing, and I was like, I have a respect for Shakespeare, but that was not.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
You want to make it about hip hop?
Yeah, like this. That sounds corny. I'm not trying to do that, right? But I listened to her, heard her out, and I didn't necessarily do exactly that, but I came up with a curriculum about poetry and hip hop.
Yeah.
And so that I went to like my alma mater, so I went to that class. It went really well, and so that was something that I just ended up developing and was able to take that into different schools.
Nice.
So it's been about 13 years now.
Wow.
Since I've been able to have that door open. And so from there, that launched into like speaking, speaking in schools and stuff like that. So all of that just came out of that. She saw something I didn't, in myself. And so, I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I gotta say something real quick, because I'm gonna forget. My ADD brain's crazy. But I love what you said, man, about, and people need to realize this, the prayer warriors out there, God does say no sometimes.
Oh yeah.
He's not, like, I know the Bible, I know the verses that we all know, but like sometimes he will tell you no, and when you keep pushing, like, you're not available for those pivots. So you're gonna keep, like, you're running into a closed door. You know what I'm saying? So it's
it's yes, no, or wait. Those are the things that I've learned. Yes, no, or wait.
That's a fact. I just want to make sure. Love
so so my life now, I think, is a result of certain no's, a few yeses, and a couple waits.
Man.
So
that's powerful.
It is, and that's all moving. Powerful. I think moving in faith, like we've taught, knowing how to navigate those weights, those no's, and those. So yeah, because
I'm an impatient person too. So like it's
it kinda, every way, bro.
It kind of sucks. But I mean, like Scripture says, His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. So it's like, ultimately, are you gonna trust Him, or are you just gonna trust you?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
For sure. That's powerful.
It is.
So what the curriculum that you do, like you said, it kind of, is it for, you said you went to your alma mater. Is that like college?
No, that's my high school alma mater.
Oh, okay. So
so the place where it was, and ironically, it was with my creative writing teacher, who actually made me take hip hop seriously.
Oh.
So like, I was in her class and I was listening to music. I was the kid with the headphones all the time. And so like, she would just ask me what I was listening to, and would break down that like some of my favorite rappers were using literary devices in the English class, literary devices. And so she would say, hey, he's using onomatopoeia. This is imagery. This is similes. This is metaphors. The stuff that I was learning in English, and it was cool.
Yeah.
But I just didn't care. And then once she kind of broke that down, and she was like, hey, look out for this, or find this, and then report back to me. Then I was like, oh, wow. So a lot of my favorite rappers are using these things. And so that's where it was like, okay. So my penchant for lyricism sort of evolved based from that. And that's when I started taking it seriously.
That's dope.
That's a shout out to that teacher.
Yeah, shout out to that teacher.
Shout out to Miss Parody. Yeah, so like, Miss Parody, she changed my life on that.
Yeah.
And so so ever since then, that's where my love for like lyricism, because I love music. I'm from a musical family. My dad plays bass. I also play drums too.
Okay.
My mother used to sing. My sister plays a variety of instruments and sings. And my brother plays. So yeah.
Shoot. Hold on.
I heard something a second ago, and I was like, wait a second. We're good.
Yeah.
Man.
But no, that's dope though. That's dope. That man, that scared me. If y'all watching on YouTube, y'all definitely just see me jump. Boy, I thought someone was breaking in. But no, that's dope though, because a lot of people don't realize that. Like people just think rap is rap. Oh, they ain't talking about nothing. They just doing all this stuff. But a lot of that is like you said, metaphors, you know, onomatopoeias, all those things. Like people don't know how to look for that stuff.
Right. So so like being able to have a curriculum that sort of juxtaposes like the classic poets. So we delve into Langston Hughes, we delve into Robert Frost, we delve into Keats, and say, okay, well, in the case of Langston Hughes, here's imagery. So that Raisin in the Sun poem, when it happens to a dream deferred, we go over that. And there's like the 5 senses that he touches on in the poem. Yeah. And then like we juxtapose that with Biggie's Juicy. Oh. So we talk about it was all a dream. So like, okay, what are some things that he's talking about with that? Yeah. You know, and we talk about the imagery that they paint in both of those particular poems. And so we talk about, like I said, the classic poets, and we talk about Eminem, we talk about Jay-Z, we talk about Mos Def, Common, all that, and show that there's a lyricism. Because I think a lot of times too with kids now, they don't necessarily get exposed to the lyricists.
It's a dying thing, unfortunately.
You know what I mean? It's vibes, it's turn up, and that's cool, but it's like they don't get that other side.
Like what's being said, like what's the, like you said, all the core of like this art, like what's being spoken. So
it gives them, even though it's old school to them, which is crazy. Even though it's old school to them, they still can get a respect for the culture. They can get a respect for the craft of rapping. Yeah, because it feels like everybody can rap now. Yeah,
it feels like
it feels like it feels like
and the machine, like you said, the machine will push a lot of people that you know what I mean, because they're marketable and things like that. But
it's one of those things where like no, there's still lyricists, and there's some that are out there now that are still pushing that still adhere to, you know, rapping and bars and structure and things of that nature. But it's not as much. It's not being pushed out to the mainstream as much. You got to dig more. I mean, and that also that's just a testament to like how people are consuming music now.
True. With the times, so man, in every way.
Yeah. So it's different now. Yeah. But that's that's what I do, is kind of still tell them about that. And so
I love that, because I'm with you 100% on that, man. I was born in 91, so I'm still coming from that era of like, you know, the great soul R&B. Like I love that era, and I try to represent that as much as possible. Gospel. My dad's also a bass player. I'm a drummer as well, so nice. I felt that on that. Okay. But yeah, man, I think that it's a dying breed, and it's something I always try to keep alive too. And I heard, you know, La Russell by chance? Yeah. Okay, so I really love La Russell, just his grind, his whole, just been watching him kind of build. And I seen him on a podcast the other day, and I do believe that there is so many people doing art and doing music now and on social media with it and doing all these things, but like there's still certain people that have a divine thing that like you can't, there's no really explanation to. It's like this person just, man, I don't know, like
they were anointed.
So it's just one of those things. There's still specialties. There's still great lyricism is still appreciated. I think it's just harder to, like you said, you got to dig a little bit to find those people there too.
Because everybody's rapping, everybody's singing, everybody. Like, I mean, I think there's a stat that Spotify, there's 60,000 songs a day that drop on Spotify. So that's a day. So I mean, like you think about like the literal concept of streaming. It's like you think of a stream, you think of a river. Like you have like a cooler that you can just dump into the river and you can get a certain amount of water. And that's how much you can digest. Meanwhile, bunch of water is going back. Just flying. You know what I mean? So like that's every single day. So it's a lot. So like you have to dig, you know, MTV is pretty much obsolete. It's just ridiculousness 24/7. BET's not really, you know, doing their thing. So it's like you the way we used to consume with the 106 in Park and TRLs and all that stuff. The way we used to get it, it's not how they get it now. So it's different.
It's discouraging. It can be very discouraging to artists that are new, that are coming up. And I'm here, like, don't quit though. Like if you do have something that is different, like keep going, because the good stuff, it might take longer. It always cuts through.
Always cuts through.
It always cuts through.
So like, I mean, this, you know, stuff is popular and stuff is popping, but I think the top people that we always talk about, those are the ones that have cut through. So
Yeah.
Yeah, once you build that fan base though too, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You have those people that will
Of course.
just every time you drop,
course.
they're always gonna listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what it
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
But 60,000 is
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Well, I don't even want. We can talk all about Spotify.
Yeah.
they're
All
going
day.
through it right
That
now
is
as well. So
crazy.
it is, man.
Well, that's
it's a business though. It's a
That's true.
business. It's a
That's like
business
when you
model.
asked me, am I gonna rap or am I gonna sing? I was like, bruh, see, I'm not one of those ones. Most people be like,
Like,
yeah,
you
bro,
gotta
you
be-
know,
yeah.
I do need to
Like
rap my
you-
launch career. You know,
like
I need
you
to
gotta
launch
be,
that. Like, no,
you
I'm
gotta
good.
be through it. Like
Yeah.
if
You
you're
do.
gonna be an artist, like
You do.
be serious.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a hobby, it's a hobby. But
Yeah.
like if you're gonna be serious, understand how much it's gonna cost
Yep.
for you to be an artist.
For sure.
100%. And
Yeah,
I go
sure.
through some of. Well, I'm pained with some of that right now, but I also love it though at the same time, man.
Yeah.
It's just it comes with a lot, and I'm sure you've felt so navigating through because it sounds like you're a believer. Like I've
sure.
I felt that from you when I saw
Yeah.
you perform too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about real quick like the navigation through that being a believer and not necessarily saying I'm a Christian artist,
Mhm.
but like you're also trying to tap in with certain crowds of people. Like
Right.
that's a tough way. It's tough to navigate.
It's
that
tough.
sometimes.
It's tough, and I think for me, it's always been about the music first. I think that as far as being a believer, I think if your relationship with God is as solid as you say it is, then that should cut through the music.
Word.
You know,
Word.
that should cut through the art.
Amen.
So even if you're not like, for me, I'm not like super Jesus in my raps.
Yeah.
Like it's just for me.
Yeah.
That,
Yep.
anybody else that's
Yep.
cool, but for me, that's never been my thing.
Yeah.
But I do let you know
Yeah.
who I'm with and who
For
I
sure.
serve,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
But I'm gonna also pride myself on the craft.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna,
For sure.
pride myself on rapping well and and having an ear for beats and production and hooks
Yeah.
and things of that nature. So
Yep.
like I focus on the music maybe more so than I do the message, because I feel like
Yeah.
the message is gonna cut through if I'm really tapped
If it's
into the
genuine.
source.
True.
Yeah, if I'm
For
tapped
sure.
into the
For
source,
sure.
then I should be fine.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be off.
Mhm.
But that's kind of how I've always looked at it. So for me, it's like, okay, and being a Christian rapper or a rapper that's Christian, we're already at a disadvantage,
For sure.
for a lot of
For
reasons. So it's, for me, it's like, okay, we're doing push-ups on our knuckles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Word.
So
We
whereas
are.
everybody else is
Yeah.
just doing regular push-ups,
Yeah.
but we're doing that so that if we end up being in different spots where
Mhm.
like we have to do regular push-ups, we're smoking them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
you know what I
That's facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
so like,
Mhm.
because
Facts.
not only do we have like a message in our music, but man, like we're rapping well, and we got crowd
Yeah.
control. We're doing all of
Yeah.
these things
Man.
well, and maybe better
Yeah.
than some of our counterparts.
Mhm.
And so that's how I've always approached it. So like
Yeah.
because of that, like I've been able to do different types of shows and to work with different type of artists and open up for different type of artists. Like ain't too many people that have done shows with Shaggy and Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
That was gonna be
crazy.
the next question.
Yeah.
Is what's some of your
Yeah.
highlights? Like what's been
Yeah.
some of your
So like for me, so this year, Vince Staples, we did that show in Wichita. Next
Hey.
in a few
Oh.
in a few weeks, I'll be doing something with Mac Lethal in
Let's
Manhattan.
go.
So like I've done those. So
Mhm.
but I think all time, man, all time. So like Kirk Franklin has been one, Common has been another. Yeah, it's been I've done quite a few.
And because I've seen on like your Facebook and stuff, like that's what I was talking to Mike about like yesterday, and I was like, yeah, man, he does like he's everywhere, like Minnesota, like you travel doing different things, like DJing and different shows and stuff like that. But like, what made you like? How'd that come about? Was that your
As far as
connections
DJing?
from? Well, just DJing and rapping, like doing different shows throughout the whole country,
So for me, I think it's also, I mean, networking is also key.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like, I was like what you said, like social media can be a definite blessing. And so like, MySpace days is a lot of my connections I still have because of MySpace.
Wow.
So MySpace and early Facebook.
Yeah.
And so being able to use those and coming through and just doing what I do. And still build a fan base. Like I've my fan base, the Cash Mob, they've been with me for years, despite me not really dropping a whole lot of music.
Yeah.
But like
I've seen you grow in
Yeah.
it, like and pivot and
Yeah.
just keep growing.
and
though.
keep going.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I pivoted to DJing and stuff like that, it was kind of natural. And then having just a network of DJs just across the country who see what I do, and that's kind of how I've been able to kind of sustain, and the pivot has worked.
Yeah.
So
those some big shows though.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're talking about some big. Like, what was some of the capacity in, like in a
so
couple
I think
of those?
like with Kirk Franklin, that was I think it was about 4,000. I've been able to do so the Shaggy Show I think was probably like 6,000. Naughty by Nature was about 8,000.
That's what's up, man.
So it's like I've been able to do a lot. South by Southwest, I've been able to do that as well. So like I've been blessed enough to kind of travel not just across the country, to do international shows as well, and to be relatively unknown, but to still be able to do these things. Man, I can't call it. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, blessing.
Awesome,
Blessing for
Congrats
sure.
on all that, man.
Yeah.
That's fire.
With Kirk Franklin, what would you do? You opened up for him, or
Yeah. So it was part of a conference, and it was myself and then my group at the time. So Mass Reality, we did a show, and then he was like the guest speaker and musician. So
dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. That's real dope.
Kirk Franklin's fire, man. I was just watching him on the Lecrae podcast the other day. He's such a man.
Yeah, I
Genuine
love that.
guy.
I love that. I love when Lecrae and Tripoli and all them came here to Topeka. I was working security
Years
for him
ago.
at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I
Tell
was
the
behind
World?
the stage.
The Tell the World thing.
The one that was downtown,
I believe so.
outside, right outside the Capitol.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, Brell used to hit me up. About that.
Yeah,
So,
Brell was there. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so I was behind. I was making sure that nobody went to his tour bus. So I was
Right.
literally right there in front of his tour bus.
And that's another artist that I've been privileged to do a show with. So like,
Right.
and he's cool cat. Man.
Yeah,
That's fun.
that's dope. That's real
Yeah,
dope.
that is.
Okay, how did you pivot into DJing and things like that? Because this is just me as I'm starting DJing, and I was telling Mike about this too. I stream my music.
Okay.
So like I know DJing is completely different, or it's moving in a different direction
Right.
compared to having to own all your music and things like that. The thing that sucks about streaming is I can't do stems. Because I can't drop the vocals,
Right.
I can't pull the beat out,
Right.
know. So that's one thing that I'm kind of like, it's DJing, but it's not like I'm just hitting some effects, I'm blending the music, matching BPMs and things like that. But what made you want to jump into that?
Man, a few of my DJs that I work with, one of them being DJ Carbon from Wichita. That's a DJ that I kind of was just looking at and was like, man, I really like what he does. And I just wanted to do that. But then also too, I'm also a curator just at heart. So I love doing playlists. So it wasn't anything for me to just switch into that. It was just like, all right, let me figure out how to do this. Let me figure out how to blend. Let me figure out how to do certain mixes and things of that nature. So, like I said, I've always had a healthy respect for the craft, but it was just like, all right, let me do this because I know how to get parties going. Like I know what to do.
Yeah.
It was just doing it. That was my thing.
For sure. Are you stream so when you do stream your music, are you
Haven't
streaming
done that.
through?
You haven't
Haven't
streamed
streamed yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm I should.
Yeah.
Because I want to know how to get. I should know how to get better.
Yeah.
But I've just been like, because I mean, I feel like you should record your set so you can see okay, this was dope. I need to work on this. Transition needs to be a little bit better here.
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you do some critiquing, but I just have not done that yet.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So are you paying say DJs when they're streaming the music, are you basically working off of downloaded files, or do you typically are you using
Record
Apple?
pools.
Okay.
So I have record pools.
Cool,
So
cool.
I get a lot of the radio edits and the mixes and all that, and the instrumentals and acapellas and stuff like that. But then also too, because I love streaming or the stems. So I do that as well because stems is fun, especially when you're interacting with crowds.
Yeah. That's the hardest
dropping
part.
off the
Do the
verse
most.
so that let them sing along and stuff like that, and just
Yeah.
figuring out the cues for that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, that's the hardest part for me. Is that's the thing that me learning streaming music. It's cool, but because you could play the newest, the hottest, whatever is going out right now. If it dropped yesterday, it's I pull it up, and then when people come up and request a song, it's I can pull it up. I got you. But the hard part about it is I'm not able to drop, the verse, or I'm not able to mix a rock song with a R&B, you know, like the vocals and put it over the R&B beat. So it's one of those things. It's like I want to be able to engage with the crowd a lot more. But it's,
and it's something that I think comes with time.
Yeah,
and I
for
think
sure,
with the way technology is going, you'll be able to do that here, here real soon.
Yeah,
like Stems wasn't even a thing until like 2 or 3 years ago. It just came a thing.
Gotcha.
So
yeah,
the way things are going, just give it a minute.
Yeah, just some time. Yeah, because streaming, I know because I use DJ algorithm, DJ Pro algorithm.
Okay.
And honestly, like I could pull it up on my phone, connect it to my board. Like I could go anywhere with it because I can stream the music as long as I got internet connection. But it really is like it threw me off, and I was like, this is where like this is crazy how much you can do with it. So yeah, I definitely see it. Definitely see it happening in the next few years or so.
Yeah, man. So what's other event? Oh my
God. No, exactly what I was about to ask.
I was gonna say, like, what events moving forward are you doing? Is there anything regularly you're doing at a spot in Salina, or do you just kind of have whoever reaches out?
So like I was doing an R&B party called R&B Vibes. So like I was, it's like a quarterly type deal. So I'd bring in, normally it would be me, but I've brought in some of my friends to do that, and so those R&B parties have went really, really well. I kind of took a break from that to get back onto the music, but that'll probably come back in here in 2025. But I haven't, as far as like DJing, like you'll probably catch me like at the Liberty games. That's where like a regular thing, or just here and there. If somebody books me, then I'm there. But like I don't have like a residency. I've never really wanted to be hooked to a residency.
Gotcha.
Like I want to be able to kind of just move and navigate the way that I can.
For sure.
And so that's been pretty much it. But
makes sense.
That's dope. So how's the DJing at the Liberty games like?
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's like it's one of my favorite gigs.
Really?
That's why I'm still doing it, because it's like I get to play, you know, some things to turn the players up, turn the crowd up, but then just for my own benefit. Like it's just fun to play like Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Play Catch a Dream, or the Sebastian song by what I mean, that
for sure.
The Office theme, like just to see people's reactions. Like I love that.
I love playing.
I love playing curveballs like that just to see people's reactions. So it's really one of my favorite gigs, and the ownership group has been awesome. Coach O'Neill's been dope. Players love it. So. Yeah. That's why I'm there still.
Yeah. So. And Salina, they got a good crowd that turns up. Like they got a good fan base.
Yeah. They have a really solid fan base, and you know, when it gets down and dirty, then their fan base turns up. Yeah. So
that's dope, man. That's dope.
Are you connected with quite a bit of people, like artist wise, here in Topeka that you
work with? So for me, as far as Topeka, I used to not like Topeka at all. And
me too. I'm from here.
I was just gonna say there's quite a bit of people that, but I mean it's changing for sure.
Yeah,
like we're be ashamed, but all that's changed.
And I'll explain why in a bit. But like over the years, I've been able to link up with people. So like Stick Figure was like my first.
Oh yeah.
That was like my first guy like that I linked up with, and I was like, he's cool. I mean, I remember DVS Minds like back in the day, like when I was growing up. But like, as far as one that I connected with, it was Stick Figure. That was the first one. And then Busy from there.
Busy, yeah.
Marty from Ebony Tusk.
Marty, yeah.
Then Braille, Architect. Drew Dawson recently. So
Drew.
Like those were the ones that I kind of known. And then a few years ago, I met SJ.
Okay.
Hazim. He's the one that kind of started bringing me to get down to T-Town events. And so that's kind of how I known him. And then of course I known T-Rel for a minute. So,
for sure.
That's kind of, let's see, who else am I forgetting? I think Chris from the Skeps.
Chris, man.
You know what I mean?
The
like
Skeps, dog.
Yeah. So like I've known a lot of Topeka artists.
Yeah.
Despite not really caring for the city, but like, yeah.
What made you not care for the city?
Okay. So I brought this with me.
Here we go.
It's bad. Yeah. But
It's
this is a trophy of. So I performed at the Juneteenth. It was 2009.
Okay.
So as I don't know if y'all can see it, y'all probably can't. Yeah. But it says,
if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it.
Yeah, best youth gospel talent in third place. Right. I'm 29 when this happens, and I'll explain why this gets on my nerves. So I was actually booked through MySpace to perform at Juneteenth.
Okay.
So I was like the headlining act.
Yeah.
So I'm there. They put me up at the Hyatt Place. I think it just had opened at the time. So new spot, lovely loft, right? They gave me a gift basket. I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be nice. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so I get there. It's at Gage Park, and it's like not a lot of people there. I'm like, okay, well, it's 100 degrees, so I can kind of get it.
Yeah.
Right.
It is hot.
So I'm there and I'm performing. The person that booked me, I didn't see at all. So I'm like,
dang.
Okay. This is weird.
Yeah.
But all right. And so there's some things that were happening, and I was like, this
A little shaky.
yeah,
there.
I don't know, but I'm
seem
gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I do my set, and I'm like, okay, cool. I go to the merch table. I'm signing stuff. I'm selling merch, and then this guy comes up, and he says, "No, there's a couple people. Okay, so there's a couple kids that are performing after me, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, if I'm the headlining act, why are these kids
Yeah.
still
After.
like,
Over,
what's the deal? Right. So it should be done.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, whatever. And then this guy comes up and he announces the winners of the talent contest.
Oh no. You're 29.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, this must have happened before I got here.
Oh no.
That's what's up. So third place,
no.
Cash Hollistah. And I'm like, what?
Oh no.
What?
Why is my name even out there?
Why? So I'm confused, but I walk up and I like, hey man.
Yeah.
I'm not in the not in the show.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, you are. Like, all right. So I take the trophy and I go back to my seat. And I'm like, okay, well then who won? Who's the winner?
Yeah.
There was a middle school girl
Mm.
that got second place. She did like a praise dance.
Yeah.
No, I forget what she did a song.
Mhm.
And then the winner was like this 8-year-old who did this like praise dance / tumbling routine.
Mm-hmm.
She was the last one that performed. She was the one that won. And I'm like, how is it
I showed up as a headliner.
Yeah.
that I got booked
Yeah.
as a headlining act
Yeah.
that turned into a talent show that I didn't even win, and a youth talent show, and I'm 29.
Yeah, I was gonna say youth talent show. You're 29.
I'm like,
They had it
Like,
all worked out. It
I know,
sounds
like I know black doesn't
crazy.
necessarily crack, but that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Like
Yeah.
crazy. And so I have this and I keep it with me because it's like anytime I get a big head,
Yeah.
anytime I start feeling myself,
There you go.
I look at this and I'm like,
Third
Remember.
place trophy.
Remember.
I got a third place trophy. Remember, and this is the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, remember, as dope as you think you are, there is an 8-year-old out there.
Yeah,
gonna
that's
clean
doper than you.
Doper.
Yeah.
That's gonna
doper than
clean
And
you
he
up.
ain't even gonna do something similar that you did. It's
Nope.
gonna be
Yes.
something completely different.
Yeah.
Like,
So like I've had this for 15 years and you can
That
tell
is
it's not
crazy.
so so after that, I was like, you know what? I'm not fooling with Topeka. No.
he said it's all in the city, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Yeah. I don't
That
care.
on the
is
city.
crazy.
It didn't even matter. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I went to like Fiesta one time.
Mhm.
Like I did like a video with Stick and Busy, and that's where I met Chris.
Yeah.
And so that's like the only other time that I'd really came to Topeka.
Yeah.
I think I did a show at a church one time, but like I was not fooling with.
Yeah.
I wasn't fooling with y'all at all.
I don't blame you, bro. That's scarring.
Yeah,
I'd have
that
felt the
is-
same way.
That is kind of that's a participation trophy.
That
bro.
is a-
That- if you've ever, that's
Right.
exactly what that is. Bro.
Right.
That's
And
hey,
I'm
we-
like,
here, give it to Cash.
Hey,
give it to
right.
Cash.
Like, yeah. Like there were judges
yeah.
that conferred with each other that decided that the 8-year-old
Oh my
wins
goodness.
this competition. Which, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
you shouldn't even been
That's a bad setup.
considered.
They
Yeah.
set that up
Well,
terrible.
well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I know you're in good hands if you ever come back to the Juneteenth because my pops is one of the
Oh,
ones that
okay.
runs it now.
Okay.
No more
Good.
third place.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
more.
Like-
no, you're a headline. Stick actually did This past one, he was
Okay.
he performed at the past Juneteenth
Nice.
one, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was 2009, and that scarred me
Whew.
for a while. And
Mhm.
it wasn't until recently, that I was like, all right, I
I'll
met
go sit with
Zim
this
and we talked,
podcast.
and I was like, okay, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was, I'm fine.
Yeah,
All is
yeah.
forgiven. All is well. But man,
yeah, no, that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts. That's,
I get it though.
that,
I
that's
definitely
hard.
get it. I was wondering that trophy too. I
Yeah.
get man,
Yeah.
heck
Yeah.
of a story with that. That's
so
scarring.
yeah,
That's dope.
but things have changed,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're good.
So what do you have coming up? I know you got some DJ events.
Yeah.
And then I seen that up in Minnesota? You got something in Minnesota or
Maine.
Maine? That's where
Maine.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. And then I also work with the Kansas Music Hall of Fame, so I'm like on the board of directors for that, and I produce their ceremony. So that's
Okay.
we're right now in the middle of ballot season. So
Okay.
they already have like their nominees, and so for those people that are wanting to become members
Mhm.
and see the ballot, you can go to ksmhof.org.
Gotcha.
That's the Hall of Fame site. And yeah, so we have 34 nominees right now. So
Okay.
34 representing 34 state. Shout out to XV. XV's on the ballot.
Gotcha.
And there's a couple of other cats that I personally am vouching for, but there's, people from different genres.
Yeah.
I've been on that board for about 4 years now,
Okay.
and it's been awesome to really just see the documentation, the history of Kansas musicians.
Yeah. I didn't even
Um,
honestly. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, so that's
Yes.
pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
So it's been in existence. It'll be actually our 20-year anniversary
Dang.
will be coming up this year.
Okay.
And so there's been over 185 people that are in the hall. And so over the past 4 years, I've been able to induct. This year we were able to induct Jay White Did It. So that was the guy that's behind Bodak Yellow,
Oh.
Cardi B's Bodak Yellow, and
Yeah,
I Like It, and
Yeah.
Megan Stallion's Savage.
Yeah.
So he's from Leavenworth. So we were able to induct
was he
him.
producing in that?
He's
or was he-
producing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he produced those
Yeah,
records.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's
Dang.
he's certified for real.
Yeah.
And so him being from Leavenworth, we got him in. We got Janelle Monáe in. Jared Neiman, a country artist that lives in Liberal
yeah.
or is from Liberal, but has done things. So Tech Nine,
Yeah.
4 years before that. So it was like that's being able to be a part of those inductions has been awesome.
Yeah.
And being able to produce that ceremony has been good too. So yeah. So that's those are the main things that I'm doing. I
Yeah.
think I've taken quite a bit off my plate so
Mhm.
I can work on the music, but
Get
then
back to music.
also I do that too.
Yeah.
So
You got anything specific, like
I
a
was gonna
single
say,
you're
yeah.
working on? You working on like a project,
yeah,
or you got?
it's a project. It's
Yeah.
been oh my God. It's,
It takes some
That's-
time, bro.
that's the monkey, man. That's the
Mhm.
albatross.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm working on. But I would like to come out with a little 2-pack single here before the year's out.
That'd be dope.
Just to come back and taste the waters or
Mhm.
test the waters, because it's
Yeah.
been so long in the way again people consume music is so different.
Mhm.
It is.
And how artists need to navigate is different, and how you put out content and
Yeah.
promote your record. It's not the same as it was.
It's not.
Mm-mm.
So-
Not at all.
That's going to be interesting for me. So it's I want to put this out, but then also I'm a marketer at heart. So I want to know how I can
Mhm.
push this
Yep.
to the people, and how do I do this in a way that makes me stand out from the 200 rappers that live in the state of Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the 50,000 rappers in the United States. How do
Mhm.
I stand out from them? So it's
Yeah.
always good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that though, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
looking forward
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
to the new music, new
Yeah.
projects, anything you drop. I'm waiting.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you definitely let us know, man. You know,
Yeah.
we'll tag it, and we'll support for sure, because even the Get Down to T-Town, my son was the gorilla song.
Oh yeah,
My son was
Yeah.
man for probably if I play it today, he's going, I'm a gorilla.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
up?
that's dope.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the-
He's
that's
for
the
it,
so-
yeah.
that's the song. And so tying back into that. So there was supposed to be a statewide remix that we were working on
Oh yeah.
when we did it. So that's how come and Busy's on it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Busy's on it, and then that's when we shot the video was at Fiesta.
Okay.
So that's how I ran into Stick, and then I ran into Chris from the
Chris.
Skep. So
Man, Chris needs to start rapping again, bro.
Yeah, man, Chris is dope.
he's man.
Chris is
I had I still have the Skep's CD somewhere here.
That's what's
in
up.
the house because, man, I played that in my 08 Malibu, baby. I
08 Malibu.
08 Malibu. I used to ride around whipping it with the skips.
Yeah. So that's how I met him. And yeah, so like that. So like I said, that the Gorilla song has been around for a minute. So yeah.
No, it slaps.
It still goes. So I'm glad. I'm fortunate.
It does.
Fire, man.
It's always making the goal is always to make timeless music so that it stands the test of time. So
same. And it can try the patience.
Yeah.
Because like when you're really putting out timeless music, we know sometimes it ain't the most popular right now.
Right.
But like that's what timeless means. It's like people find that though eventually. And it's like, man, and then it lives just on and on.
Right.
So
for sure.
So like being able to do that to where like, your son just found out about it in 2024, even though like I came out with that in 2012.
Yeah.
So like,
man.
Like
12 years ago.
And it still goes.
Yeah, it still does.
So like people are still discovering and still playing it like, more than once.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's still catchy.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So
got real fans with Cash Mile fans over here,
There
baby.
you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Cash Mile
Appreciate that.
fans.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Yeah, come on
For
now.
sure. Now, where can everybody find you at on like social media and everything like that?
Okay, so it's Cash Hollistah. It's HOLLISTAH, not the white boy clothing. It's AH.
Yeah.
So Cash Hollistah, and that's everywhere.
Gotcha.
So all that.
Perfect. All streaming platforms, everything.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Check him out, man. He's got some good music for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, we appreciate you for being our first non-Topeka resident that's not from here.
Yeah.
Obviously
building the bridge. We're
we're
getting
building
rid
it.
of some old hurts.
Yes, absolutely.
Many
else got some trophies, bro? Bring them to the table. We gotta talk about it.
We need to produce a trophy for you being on this episode. We do. Just expect it in the mail. That's the thing.
Oh, real participate. Thanks for participating.
Goodness gracious.
But third place though.
Yeah, third place, right. Don't get too hot. Don't get too hotty. Don't get too prideful.
I'm like, well, man, we had an 8-year-old on too. He really was killing it, man.
He cleaned you up, bro. He cleaned you up.
But no, make sure that y'all like, subscribe, share, comment. We are on all streaming platforms now, so check out Cash Hollistah's music catalog. The dude is dope, man, and he's really got some good things. So and. Obviously some things coming here in the future. So make sure that y'all stay tuned and make sure that you hit that bell notification so you never miss an I'm From Topeka podcast. Until next time.
We love you. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Topeka, baby. It's about the people, baby. Yeah. I love my city, baby. From the north, south, west to the east side. TOPCITY. I love my